So today we are checking out Citadel Hill here in Halifax. Going to be exciting. I got the wind mic on, so hopefully the wind isn't too bad. And we got soldiers guarding the gate in their Brits uniform. It's pretty cool. Kind of neat that they mow it down there. Stay 2 meters apart from the cannon. Ooh.
That's awesome.
Wow. Pretty cool. Let's go see what they're saying wow about. Could be a wow moment. Oh, beautiful floor. Looks like an officer's bedroom.
If this was a prison, this would be so nice.
Trap door. A guard room. It's been so many years since I've been here. Came here as a kid and that was the last time. So pretty neat. Now we gotta figure out where the cannon's gonna be fired. Wow. This is huge. Yeah, I've lived here for so many years, but never thought it was this big in here. Because it's hard to remember sometimes when you've been here like 30 years ago. So this base is just humongous. Nothing like McNabb's Island or York Redoubt. Much bigger. The old cannons. Of course, the British flag is flying at half-mast for the Queen, as you all know. Okay. These are huge rooms. Think about how much reinforced these walls are. There we go. There's a good perspective of the base. I'm over here right now where that flagpole is. Gonna walk over to the noon gun. Oh, it's like a mirror there. Yeah, kind of cool. All sorts of defenses. One cool base. You often wonder what it would be like actually working in the base at the time. You know, how the people were treated, especially the ground troops, like me. Oh, there's one that was wood. This base is old. Old. Second Citadel. Ooh, they grew it. Look at that. Oh, look at that big thing in the middle. That would have been cool to see. Wow, that's much bigger. Third Citadel. Huh. Guess we're in the 4th edition.
But yeah,
Nice
like
tunnel.
to the point where I had to go to my aunt.
Wow. Let's go see where it goes. So the lunchtime gun was pretty cool. It's been a long tradition to keep that going here in Halifax. And still shocks me sometimes when I'm in my apartment and I hear it go off. Ah, they set this up here to imitate D-Day, June 6, 1944. And Canada stormed the shores. This would be quite something. Of course, I salute all those men that stormed the beach back then. That would have been scary as hell. Wow, they did a good job on this. Of course, these things are anti-tanks, because when you drive over it and you hit it, they dig into it like an anchor, and your vehicle gets stuck. So not so much for men. And of course, this would be loaded with mines all the way up the beach. Barbed wire all the time. A German bunker at the time. Of course, they'd be able to see all the way down the beach. So I'm just going to keep going with this tunnel. Well, let's explore a little bit here. I don't know if we're supposed to be in here or not. Oh, maybe just to here. It's here and no further. There's the map. Of course, each section would have been drawing this on the ground to inform their section of where to go once they land on the beach. Would have been pretty interesting. Storage. How deep those windows are. Sounds pretty cool looking at that. Definitely wanted to take my shoes off and walk in the sand and get some energy in my body. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Mary owns half of the number of cats she owns, plus half a cat. Huh, interesting. Is this the chapel?
Yeah, so this just in here is the regimental schoolroom.
Oh.
So this is where the soldiers and their children would come to get their education here at the Citadel.
So they'd have their children with them?
Yeah, so there would be a certain percentage of the regiment that would be allowed to get married.
Yeah.
So their wives and children would be living here with them at the Citadel.
Wow. I did not know that. Guess it makes sense when they're kind of here for a long time.
Yeah.
So what year would that have been going on then?
So basically throughout the Victorian period, but what
Okay.
we're portraying here right now is 1869 to 1871. So basically like a 2-3 year time span.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's kind of cool. I guess our school system's come a long way. I don't know if it's for the better or not, but we will see. Guess it's pretty important living in a base like this, knowing your ships. Thanks. That's kind of interesting that soldiers would have had their kids along. I know a lot of the sailors on the ships, not the Navy ships, but the fishing ones and other ships like that, would bring their kids along, especially the captain. Due to them being away from home for so long, you kind of need to bring them with you. Of course, these soldiers here would be living on this base for years and years, and then being subbed out to McNabb's Island and George's Island. And of course, if you want to watch those bases, I filmed them too, so you're in luck. Let's go see what's around here. Look how high these walls are. The only thing they don't portray is how many mice would be running around here, and the hay, the smell of the horses, the smell of the people, all that fun stuff that would be in here at the same time. Of course, these bases went through diseases and hair lice, all that stuff. These, I guess, would be spare cannons ready to go that they can roll out with the horses. Gunpowder, of course, in there. They often don't store the gunpowder too close in case it blows. Huh.
That's where you went in your bed.
This is the skyline, and right on over here by this bridge in the narrow section of the harbor is where the Halifax explosion happened, kind of right over in this area here, and blew majority of that whole section of the city, just flattened it completely. So we'll get a better view of that area over here, but definitely, if you're not into history, you should research the Halifax explosion, because it was pretty interesting what happened. So over here you can see the Halifax Armories, that big ugly looking building. It's absolutely humongous, and I was attached to 1st Field Artillery Unit when I was here doing my university degree, my undergrad, and I worked out of that building. Massive building. Not sure where this goes, but looks interesting enough to go down. Kind of like a big hole in the ground. So let's go take a look at this thing.
Exit down here?
No?
No, no exit. I'm gonna take pictures. Oh, so you take pictures, I do.
Mysterious dead end. Oh, another cannon. Okay, look at this. Wow. This is beautiful. Don't get stuck in that. Right underneath there. This is so cool. I guess these holes here would have been for rifles to shoot out. So if you did get stuck in there between the walls, you gotta act fast, I guess. Of course, those metal things would not have been there at the time, so they could definitely shoot out. Yeah. And this here is at an angle, so people can shoot their rifles out there, but not be shot as easily because of the angle. You can see another musket hole over there. Probably won't turn out on the camera, but really neat. Well, this is just amazing. So to my knowledge, up on this side of the fort, these guns here would have been used more for infantry units that were attacking, not for taking out ships. They would have a pretty good view. Let's go check out the view that they would have. Of course, we are built on a natural hilltop. Why this base got built here in the first place. Pretty big cannon though. So probably the one that was actually mounted here years and years ago would be about the same size, but more for taking out people that are running at you so they don't set up camp down there. And Halifax is a very beautiful city. If you have not been here, make sure you do visit it. So look at this fascinating building in the middle. Of course, it would house all your officers and your mess hall, all that fun stuff would be in there. But wow, look at the construction. You think of all those chimneys going in the winter. Ships would have seen the smoke way before they even knew this was here, if they didn't already know it was here. Now, it was pretty established, and all of our friends and everyone else already knew about this base and how well Halifax was protected. So they left it alone and went for Louisburg. It was one of our earlier bases. And that's quite the fort up in Cape Breton if you are in the area. Definitely check out Louisburg. But if you're here in Halifax, this is an absolute must for $12.50 per adult. Well worth the money to come in here. All right, we got to the big guns. And of course, these would be chained down. There's the anchor chain there. Got your rounds there. Forced not to be messed with. This gun was made in 1991. That's pretty cool. Here's a better shot of our lunchtime cannon after actually firing. Queen's crown, I guess now the King's crown. Pretty good view of the city. You always have to battle out development and the view from Citadel Hill. And 30 years ago, it used to be quite the big debate all the time. And they tried to build buildings in certain ways so that the view up here wasn't obstructed. But I think nowadays they've gone away with that. There's our Coast Guard ship, one of them coming in. Pretty cool to see because they're often at sea for 6 months or more. And up north, protecting our North Pole, because now all sorts of ships want to go through there all the time. So hopefully we never have an oil spill up there or something like that. It would be an absolutely devastating for the wildlife up there and for the world, quite frankly. So hopefully we never have anything like that happen up there, because to get resources up there to clean it would be extremely difficult. There's a view. Oh, I can see my house. Of course, our Navy is right over here. And that big ship that you can see right underneath the bridge is a supply ship, which we desperately needed for years. And they refuel and resupply our frigates and patrol boats when they're out to sea. Oh wow, you can see George's Island from here. That's a good view too. Wow. There's George's Island. Now, to my knowledge, this view is still protected. And way back in the day, 30 years ago, this view is also protected. But now I think it's only just to see George's Island from up here. And that's why the Maritime Center building is built kind of sideways, which is interesting, just for that view line. And of course, if you want to watch the George's Island, exploring it, that is also on this channel. So make sure you subscribe and watch that video too, because it's really cool out on that island. I highly suggest you rent a kayak or hop on the ferry to get out there on the weekends and take a look at George's Island. I'm on top of the world. Look at that little trailer. I don't know how that got in there. I'm on top of the world. Well, just the Citadel Hill, but pretty close. Really neat. Cruise ship's still in. It is a beautiful time of the year, September, to visit Halifax. Yeah, really neat. Can't help when I walk across a big parade square, a huge open area like this, but to think about all the troops that would have been formed up for parades, marching around, doing their colors. and all their ceremonies. You know, when I was in the army, we did that all the time, and it is quite neat to be a part of it and be in with 1,000 people on parade. It would be cooler to watch than to be in it, but if you do want to see something like that, the tattoo comes every year, right in the springtime. Highly suggest you get to it because it is quite the sight to see. I did make it out this year because it was finally open again, and they have people from all around the world that come, all sorts of different countries, and yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh, an elevator. That would come in handy. So just walking around the back of this building, then I'm going to go inside it and probably call that a day. I'm sure I haven't seen it all yet. Bandpipes are playing in the background. You might not hear it on my wind mic, but wow, look at this structure. Now, if they built walls as thick as these in Afghanistan, I would have felt pretty safe. This massive building, I have no idea what it is, so let's go on inside, if we can. At least go up the staircase. No, we cannot get in there. Okay, well that sucks. Wonder if it's actually like an office building for these people. Wow. Authorized personnel only. Oh boy. Guess I'm not getting in there today. Wow. It's so neat to see a building that's like encircled with walls like this. That's kind of cool. I wonder what's even in there. It's probably just park staff on all their offices. Kind of looks a little bit more modern. The windows, anyway, as if they were replaced. All right, going into the Army Museum. I feel like I belong. Wow. There's a parade. There you go. We got a major, maybe. Something like that. I've never been into the new ranking system. I don't know why Canada decided to go with the British ranking system. I thought it was pretty dumb myself. Very hard to tell who's a colonel or a major or any of those things. Wow, look at that cross. Cross of Valor, which is like the highest awarded one you can get. Wow, look at that. That's like Order of Canada or something like that. Not 100% sure. Lieutenant Colonel, 9th Battalion. Victoria Cross, Distinguished Service Order. Ah, it's an Order of Service. I see. And then you got your campaign stars, which means you were first. In most cases, mind you, if you went to Afghanistan, you have a campaign star as well, even if you weren't the first ones there.
Did you decide to retire out here, and is that why you're from Oklahoma, but now you're here? Or
We live in Bedford.
Nova Scotia Highlanders, which is still a unit today, which is interesting. Oh, there's that big building I was talking about, right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I worked.
I was in the artillery for 38 years. Our last posting, I was working in Sudan during the Civil War, and my wife was living in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa.
wow,
You got quite a life.
you probably could write a book, or have you already?
Yeah, the stuff in Afghanistan, or the stuff in Sudan, I had to sign an exclusion order. I wasn't allowed to write
Non-life
on there.
stuff. But boy,
Yeah.
are you gonna stop for a while, or are you still on the move?
Oh,
This is
well,
it.
actually,
You're done.
a very, very dear friend of mine who I've known since we were 15 together, and we started our soldier training before we got commissioned in Shiloh. I was talking to him on the phone last night because they're coming down.
We'll keep going this way. I would have said hi to the fellow artilleryman if he wasn't busy chatting with people. Because Cubique Crew Fast, de Gloria de Cunt is always the motto of the artillery, instilled in my mind to this day. Look at that Tommy gun styled. You know, a lot of people are really fascinated about guns, but you lose your fascination with them when you're being shot at. Then they're not so cool anymore. Look at that prehistoric gas mask. Not 100% sure how good that would have been back then, but better than nothing. 3-shot pistol, huh? Those are nasty. Put some tripwire on them, and then when they go off, they spread a whole whack of nails everywhere and shrapnel. Here's some artillery hat badges. It's pretty cool. Now, we did have a tradition in the artillery that is banned now for obvious reasons. I guess no one really thought about it at the time. But you would take your tri-service badge, hat badge, which was a brass thing they give you as a new recruit before you join a unit officially and get your artillery hat badge. You would have your tri-star hat badge, and you would tape it to a head of a round and send it down range after you graduated and you got your new hat badge, which is one of these artillery ones with Cubique Crew Fast de Gloria de Cunt, which means everywhere right and glory lead. There's some campaign stars. Wow. I find this fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So I will definitely come back, because I'm only giving you a very quick view. When I stop the film, I am definitely coming back here and reading everything I can. Look at those old uniforms. Highlanders, majors, nurse. Pretty cool. There's the hat badges of other units. Princess, that's a light infantry unit now, still in Canada. Wow. Yeah. There's my old hat badge. Seen those, a lot of those, the Highlanders. And the West Novies. They're in Aldershot, Kentville area. Reserve unit now. Was full-time back in the war. And of course the Black Watch was trained there, which was a special forces unit with really interesting stories. If you watch the History Channel, a lot of times near Remembrance Day, they air a show about the Black Watch and what they did and all their missions. Extremely hardcore unit. Oh boy, war against Japan. Would have been a interesting day to be aboard that ship. Definitely a moment in history, right? I guess it's interesting that even in Afghanistan to this day, the setup is about the same. Except we don't have eggs. Yeah. There's your routine orders, so you know your timings and everything. Yeah. Looks pretty similar. No hay, though. Yeah. What is this? That must have been in the water or something. Juno Beach rifle, yeah. They still find stuff washed up on the beach now. Yeah, Canada definitely has a lot of war history, and sometimes we forget just how good Canada was during the war and how much we accomplished and saved the world, in my mind. Because America sure wasn't helping out during World War II, sorry, until near the end, the last year, and then they pretend they saved the world, right? Meanwhile, during World War II, the Americans were selling fuel to the Germans for years and years. And if you're American, you should definitely research that, because it is pretty eye-opening that the government at the time would do that. There's a 36th Service Battalion, which I was a part of. Yeah, so when the US was selling fuel to the Nazi Party, they had a general order that if any Canadian ship tried to stop an American fuel ship from going to Germany, that it would be an act of war against the Americans. So here's the Afghanistan things. Wow. Wow. Kind of brings back a lot. I know those boots. There's the uniform I wore. And all the badges. Yeah. Kind of neat. Kind of neat. Let's see what he was part of. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I never wore that webbing, though. I don't know where that webbing has come from. Wonder if that was something added on or something. I've never seen that used in Afghanistan. The holder, though, you did get to kind of get your own holder for your pistol. Med kit, yeah, that looks pretty good. There's the old helmet. Gets pretty heavy at the after wearing it for a long time. Desert lions. Huh. Yeah, it's pretty interesting that pretty soon you're going to see a lot more stories about what went on in Afghanistan and all that. And it'll be really interesting to hear it all. RCR, Royal Canadian Rifles. Here's a map. This is where I was for my tour. This must be on Bosnia or all the other places the UN went. Oh, Israel, yeah. Yeah, my uncle was part of that. Went there. Wow. There's some modern day webbing. Yeah. That's more of the webbing we had, but in desert camo. Yeah, that's pretty hard to look at. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, pretty sad. This is my friend here, Kirk Taylor from Yarmouth, who was in the 84th with me, and was a friend of mine who passed away in Afghanistan. Very sad. Yeah. It's a captured Nazi flag. Sometimes, I guess during World War II, when they captured a unit, sometimes they would take their flag home as a souvenir, I guess, which is understandable. Well, that was very hard to look at the Afghan stuff. All right, I'm going to go downstairs, check out the end of this building. It's pretty cool, though. If I can keep going up, I'll keep going up, but I think there's a gate there, so I can't. So down here, let's check it out and see what's in here. Orientation Center. Let's see if I can get in here. Gonna orientate you to the map of where we are.
It comes like every half an hour.
Wheelchairs if you need it. It's very handy.
No, like not an exact.
It's a picture of the base.
It comes like the frequencies.
Wow. Oh, there's the map here. So George's Island, I've explored. I put that one on film. McNabb's Island, I've literally hiked this entire island, zigzagging it, because I kayak from my place right to here, hop off the kayak and hike all the way through it. So that's on YouTube as well. York Rideau isn't really much to see, but you can take the path and kind of come down to the waterfront. And this is where we had a huge gate for World War II stopping ships, which is really neat. Right here is Point Pleasant Park, and that's pretty cool because they do have this building there, and they have some guns here and some other stuff along here, but not as elaborate as Citadel Hill or George's Island, which I really suggest if you're here, if you can get to it. Really nice place to go see and then have a picnic at. Yeah, pretty neat. There's an early machine gun. And a movie theater. I think they're waiting for the movie.
This morning, but the people who are waiting from here
Okay, then the only other thing in this building is the cafe. So if you do want a coffee when you're up here, I believe it is open for you to have a coffee and enjoy. And there's an elevator. That's very handy too, to be able to get around. So I think I will end the film there. The cafe doesn't really interest me. And I'm going to go back up to the army section and read everything I can for the next probably hour to 2 hours or more until I've read everything in that building. So I will end the film here. Really hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like if you enjoyed the tour of the base. And if you don't like my conversation part, you can add that in the comments. So there we go. We'll end on a good view. Citadel Hill, Halifax. Make sure you come here and take a look at it for $12.50. Highly, highly worth it.